So I was flipping through my channels and I saw that LaVar Ball and Tina Ball were deciding to get divorced. And though I feel like it is unfortunate that that's happening, I also think that it's a beautiful thing that if someone doesn't want to be with you any longer, they're not staying out of obligation. And I feel like in our society, we're told a lie. We're taught, hey, till death do us part. I'm never going to leave you. And the truth of the matter is, I don't necessarily want someone to be with me out of obligation. I want that person to choose me because they feel like I'm what's best for their life. Often, as a therapist, I meet these clients that really don't want to be with each other, don't like each other right now. And when I work with them, I tell them, hey, my job isn't to save your relationship. My job is to kind of help you guys look at each other as individuals first and decide, do I want to be with this person? And that flips the script. It takes the pressure off the situation. Oh, what about this? What about this? What about that? And it's just saying, hey, when I'm waking up, do I want to be with this person? Can we get through this storm together? And that conversation makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but it is a conversation that needs to be had. When I think about the Ball situation, they met in college. They had three beautiful sons. They started businesses together. She had a stroke, and I know he had his ups and downs, and they stood the test of time for 30 years. Now that they're looking at each other, it's, hey, is this what I want? And me personally, if I'm not what you want, it's probably best that you keep going as opposed to you saying, hey, we're going through something right now, but I still want this. So here's what y'all need to hear. The measure of a marriage is not how long it lasted. To me, I measure marriage by each person choosing each other. And like I said, I don't want to feel like an obligation to anyone, and I hope you wouldn't want to either. I want the person that says, hey, this is my partner. We're going to stand through these tough times, whether that be financial, whether that be health reasons. Is this person showing up for me? Am I showing up to this person? Am I motivated to keep giving this person my resources? Is this person treating me like I deserve to be treated? In previous generations, people stay together for 50, 70 years, whether they are happy or not. And I think in today's time, that's just not the reality. Now, everyone goes through a season to where they look at their partner and say, I don't know, this is what I want. I think long term, what we have to evaluate is, hey, I may not want this right now, but this is still worth fighting for. And it's not about the kids. It's not about the embarrassment of everyone know we didn't work out. It's about us really choosing like, hey, this is my ride or die. If you were in my office, I'll slow you down right here. And I will ask you, hey, tell me about the relationship, not this trouble season that you're in now. Tell me about the tenure of your relationship. And a lot of times couples get to talking about the good days and what they had at one point. And then I ask them, okay, well, what's going on now? When did things change? When we identify what changed or when they changed, we're able to really assess what's going on. Most times it's never the acute thing of, hey, this is what's going on. They're doing this, they're doing that. It's a season that happened and this thing switched to responsibility instead of genuinely just wanting to be with each other. 8 times out of 10, when I'm dealing with a couple, one of them feels like I can't be myself. And that is real. As somebody that's lived it and someone as a clinician that sees it every day, I understand how that happens and why it happens. But what I push couples to do is say, okay, cool. I want you to work on bringing your best self to the relationship. Bring that 100% version of you. And let's see if that person accepts it or rejects it. If they decide that's not what they want, hey, you know what? We can go our separate ways. More times than not, when I'm working with a couple, it benefits the relationship to where I push them to bring that unfiltered 100% fun version of themselves, whatever the real version is, instead of the version that they feel like they have to show up as. They feel free, they feel liberated, and naturally the other partner wants to lean into that because at the end of the day, that's what attracted them in the first place. So listen close. The difference between two people staying together because they choose each other as opposed just because they're married is a vast difference. And I want you to ask yourself, look in the mirror and ask yourself, do I want someone to be with me simply because they gave me a ring and they have to keep their word, or because they want to stay with me and it matters to them that vow that they made? There is a difference, and no one No one benefits when you are just simply staying with someone because you're scared to leave. They do not benefit because you're scared of how that's going to make them feel. At the end of the day, the energy is there. And if you don't want to be with them, you have to allow yourself to be free. And you also have to allow them to find someone that loves them. And what happens oftentimes when I deal with separated couples, what happens is they get that space. And I would say a lot of the times, if they handle this in a mature way, they end up rekindling what they had. Now, it's not ideal, but at the end of the day, they got to see that person for who they are, not this dogged out, tired, exhausted, anxious, tense person. They get to see that person that they fell in love with. And oftentimes it does end up rekindling. But space and giving that other person the opportunity to choose you instead of demanding it or them feeling obliged to do it, it is night and day. All right, so as we wrap this thing up, I'm gonna be real. I'm not a Christian counselor. I'm not your pastor. I'm just a real person living in the 21st century. It's 2026, and relationships are not built like they were in 1970 and 1990. You have to ask yourself, the person who I'm waking up next to, am I giving them 100% of me, or am I showing up half butt? If you're not giving 100% to your partner, you gotta look in the mirror and you gotta ask yourself, hey, what am I doing and why am I here? And if it's any reason because you love this person and you want to be with this person, I want you to reevaluate what you're thinking, and does this benefit your long-term goals? Is this person really thriving, getting what they need out of this relationship, or am I being selfish because I'm too scared to leave? I know a lot of people may disagree with my stance, but I'm telling you in practice and in real life what really happens. You want someone who wants to be with you, not someone who's obligated to be with you. You want somebody who's choosing you, not that's just there because they're scared to leave and they're scared to hurt you. Both can be painful, but when you give yourself the space to decide, hey, we're going to work this out. I can weather this storm. The storm doesn't mean that you have to leave. There are some days you may not feel like you want to be with your partner, but that doesn't mean that y'all have to break up. To the contrary, you may feel a lot of resentment towards your partner and you don't know how to release that. And if that's the case, therapy is a good option. But if that's not the case, just look and work on yourself. Don't worry about saving a relationship per se. Worry about being the best version of yourself, investing into yourself, and bringing that into whatever situation that you're in. And at the end of it, you will know if you want to be with this person or not. I hope you guys appreciate this content. Take care. Peace.